first of all, I was thinking about how to talk about Russian journalism, Russian language journalism in exile, and I concluded actually that it's I think roughly divided into different parts, and we have gone through both of them actually. Just a very short history of what was going on during the last 5 months with TV Rain. It was the only independent television network in Russia, the only left. We and also one newspaper, Novaya Gazeta, and one radio station, Echo of Moscow, were left, as we understand, by Vladimir Putin alive during all these years, because he was still thinking about some communications with the West, some contacts with the West, because he was still thinking that he needed some kind of show. He wanted to pretend, he was trying to pretend that there was still a democracy and freedom of speech in Russian Federation. After he started this terrible, catastrophic invasion of Ukraine, he has cut all the ties, and burned all the bridges, and it was unnecessary to him anymore to have this television, radio, and newspaper. He didn't need us anymore to use us as something, as communication with the Western governments. So he and his parliament have invented this law that criminalizes any person in Russian Federation who says a word of truth about this war, a word of truth about the invasion, aggression, killing of civilians, and so on and so forth. They still call it a special military operation, as you know. So then we were forced to leave the country, and me and my husband, editor-in-chief of TV Rain, Tikhon Zitko, and also our colleagues left Russia in the beginning of March. We went to Istanbul, then to Georgia. We've spent 5 months in Georgia. Right now we are in Riga, and we have relaunched TV Rain. When I said there are two parts of Russian journalism in exile, I meant television, which is actually happening right now with me and my colleagues, and other traditional media outlets, including, for example, BBC, which is already a traditional media outlet, BBC Russian. I mean, they are having a big website, with interviews, with news, with analysis, big articles, and so on and so forth. So these are traditional forms of journalism. Also, there are radio stations, but all of them are in exile. Another part is YouTube, and during these 5 months before we relaunched TV Rain, we have tried being bloggers, YouTube bloggers, actually. My husband and I, and also other colleagues, we have opened our YouTube channels when we were in Georgia, in Tbilisi. And it's important to explain why we did so, why we didn't start TV Rain from Georgia, for example, or from anywhere else after we left Russia. The only reason is that there were still people in Russian Federation, the colleagues of mine, people who used to work for TV Rain, maybe not on air, not with their faces, but behind the cameras, in control rooms, in administration, HRs, accountants, and others. A lot of people. There were 200 of people working for TV Rain, and a big part of these guys have decided to stay in Russia because of different personal reasons. And we could not risk with their freedom, actually, and relaunched the channel right away after we left the country. YouTube channels, the private YouTube channels, were kind of a way out. And we discovered during this this period of time when we were bloggers, that there's so many YouTube streams in Russia right now. You can see, if you are interested in the situation and Russian media field, you can see how many YouTube streams are daily, around you. The representatives of Alexei Navalny and his team. Alexei Navalny is the leader of Russian opposition, as you know, of course. His colleagues, they have actually created a big channel, even 2 big YouTube channels. There are people, tens of people working there. They're having daily streams, several streams a day. There are other guys, our colleagues, who have become like private bloggers and who are doing the same thing every day. And if you go on Russian YouTube, you can see that starting from the early morning and up to midnight, there are a lot of people trying to talk to you about politics, trying to discuss and trying to analyze what was going on and what is going on in Russia and Ukraine right now. And this is very interesting, and this is very useful for Russian civil society too. I mean, I wouldn't say that YouTube streams are not important, or they do not influence, or they do not have any, effect on the society. But still, it's different from television. It's different from traditional media organization, because YouTube streams that are very, very popular, and there are a lot of them, as I said already, they are still in the bubble. YouTube stream in Russia, if we talk about independent, critically, and critical towards Vladimir Putin, people who are in opposition, the bloggers are very in their own bubble. They're talking to people who they like. They invite guests who have the same state of mind, the same opinions, and they, during hours, like very, very long talks about the things that they actually think alike. So this is I think a very serious challenge for us as a television channel, not to be a YouTube stream, because it means that we would talk, if we are a YouTube stream, then it means that we talk to the audience that is ours already, audience who has the same values, audience who shares thoughts and principles that we have, and guests that do the same. This is not actually what we need. We need to talk about the issues that Russia is facing and Ukraine is facing, mainly Russia, of course, about the issues that people inside of the country are facing and people outside of the country who speak Russian. And also we are ready, and we need, and this is necessary, to discuss the things with people who are maybe in a different position, who maybe think differently, who maybe even support this terrible war in Ukraine. So what I want to say is that TV Rain, after we decided to relaunch it, has the main challenge, which I would describe as choosing a tone of voice. Right now, we are thinking about how to talk to the audience, how to talk to the people who do not support our point of view. Because people who do support our point of view are already watching, and we need others. We need to talk with others. We need to wake people up. And I would say that this is the main goal that I am thinking about. This is the mission that we are all discussing right now at TV Rain, is how to wake people up, how to force them become more critical, how to force them to see the things, and how to force them, to like wake up one day and say, I don't want to trust Vladimir Solovyov, Margarita Simonyan, and other propaganda faces anymore, because I can feel that they're lying to me. So how to bring these people to the point when they understand that propaganda faces are lying? This is the thing that we are concentrated on right now. So I am speaking with you guys from Latvia, Riga. This is the first time for me when I'm here in this country. It's rainy, as always, as I understand, but still it's very friendly. People are here very much are very much aware of what's going on. You know, if you go out on the streets, people would recognize you. They know TV Rain, they watch Dost, they used to watch Dost, and they watch it right now. And we are working at other television channels studios. They have just given us their newsroom, and we are kind of, I don't know, in a very weird position, working in a working space which is not ours. And there is, for example, a hysterical fire exit that you cannot use, but everyone uses it. And, you know, several times a day you have alarm in the newsroom. I mean, it's all very weird and strange. After we left Moscow, where we had our own big studio, our own big building, after that, you know, discovering yourself in some kind of a biedny родственник in Russia, they say, like a poor relatives position. It's not easy. But again, no drama at all. People are very friendly. People are helping us, and we are now starting to be more and more efficient. What I mean by that is we are looking at the figures right now. So what we can see is that, for example, one news broadcast from the previous week, it has like 1,600,000, maybe more views on YouTube. Or, for example, one part of one interview, my interview with Leonid Gozman, a Russian politician and a political analyst, it had more than 1 million views on YouTube. My colleagues are really successful right now. We can see that first couple of weeks are okay, and even better, even more than okay. So far, we don't know how the dynamics develop during the coming months and years, but on this stage, we are seeing that people are demanding this approach. People are demanding news, not just analysis and not just discussions as they have on YouTube streams, but people are demanding normal news. When you switch your television on and you got the picture, you got the understanding what's going on in Russia, in Ukraine, and also outside of the region if something important is happening, actually. So when me and Mr. Derchashvili were thinking about how to call this speech, it was important to me to challenge myself and to challenge my colleagues, independent Russian journalists, whether there is a chance to exist for independent journalism in exile, whether there is a chance to influence the situation from abroad, whether there is a chance to fight, let's name the things as they are, to fight the regime of Putin in Russia from exile. I don't have a direct answer, honestly saying. I'm not sure that I can tell you that, yes, of course, it's possible right now. But I have a feeling after this 5 months of immigration, I have a feeling that in the 21st century, the situation is not the same as it was 100 years ago, when people left, when Russians, the best Russians, the intellectual elite, the representatives of the best part of Russian society, when they left Russia 100 years ago and they came back after 70 years, or some of them have never come back. Some of them did earlier, and a lot of people were killed. So the situation right now, in my humble opinion, is different because we have internet, we have YouTube, whatever they block in Russia. YouTube is not blocked, I would remind you, so far. It will be eventually, but it's not. So you can use it. And even if they block it, they can use, Russians can use VPNs. They know how to do it already. So that it would not be the same situation as it was. Putin would not be so victorious as Bolsheviks were in that period of time. We think here, we can see here that even though repressions are just terrible, and even though Russian parliament, members of parliament are inventing more and more repressive laws, and even though we can see that the representatives of Russian society, people who are brave enough, who were brave enough to stay in the country, one step at a time are detained, arrested, and put in prison just for nothing. And this is something that we are witnessing from abroad, asking ourselves every single day, is it okay that we left? Is it okay that we are watching it from Latvia? Does it give us the right, I would say, does it leave us the right to criticize Russian government, to call us Russian journalists? And this is something, this is an existential question that we are posing to ourselves every day. But again, I think that we have tools, which is internet first and foremost. This is the most important thing. We have internet, we have social networks, we have YouTube, which is very popular in Russia. And we have people who are still ready to work with us on the ground in Russian Federation. That's why I have a feeling, and I hope that we will not lose this connection with the country, that we will not lose this connection, you know, when you can feel on your fingertips how the country is living, how the society is developing, what people are thinking about. I hope that we will not lose this connection with the country, because there are still journalists, brave people who are ready to cooperate. And there is a huge question right now for us. How would we work with these people? Is this their own responsibility if they show their faces on TV Rain, or maybe it's our responsibility? So I, as a news director on TV Rain, I think that it's our responsibility, of course. And the question would be answered, this question would be answered very soon. I think that we will choose to have people on the ground, but anonymously, because it's just impossible to, you know, to take this kind of responsibility when you know that people may be, they may be detained, they may have a lot of problems because of working for TV Rain. One more thing that I wanted to mention, of course, you, if you are interested in Russia and you just a little bit know what's going on there, you would see that propaganda is, and this is one of the main questions actually of this time, how propaganda works there and why this propaganda is so efficient. Every time I go on air with Western journalists, for example, or I give interviews to Western magazines and newspapers and television channels, and every time they ask me the same question: why is it so that Russians all support the war? And this is crazy, because this is not true. Yes, of course, Russians do support the war. They do. I mean, we can see that. And for example, my friend and colleague Alina Zitkovskaya she's with us here in Riga. She's from Rostov-na-Donu, which is southern Russia, and she has visited her mother just recently and came back from there with such eyes, saying that all people, almost all of them, she was saying, almost all of them are supporting the war. And well, with few exceptions, of course, but anyways, people around her in Rostov-na-Donu, they are talking about punishing Ukrainians. They are talking about NATO, which is threatening Russia, and so on and so forth. I mean, this is something that is happening in Russian Federation, no doubt about that. There are millions of Russians who trust very high quality garbage called Russian television. This is very, very efficient, really. They have beautiful pictures. They have, precisely built speeches of the hosts and also of the guests. They're very efficient. But again, it's very important to remember that we cannot know how many people exactly in Russian Federation support this war, because around me, for example, in my bubble, everyone supports Ukraine in this war. And I don't know anyone, any single person, and I'm a journalist, I remind you, I know a lot of people in Russia. So around myself, I cannot find people who would support this war. Just no one is supporting. I mean, the situation is really complicated. It's not like black and white. You cannot say that the whole country deserves to be punished right now because they all love Vladimir Putin and think that he's doing something good for the humanity. This is just not the reality that is right now in Russia. So we know that our mission, what I would suggest, the mission of independent journalists, including TV Rain, is to remember about how complicated and how sophisticated the Russian society is. How many people are scared to death watching what's going on right now, and that's why avoiding any rallies, any protests, remembering how depressed the society is, how depressed people are, how scared again they are, how important to them is to know that they're not alone. And also, I would say that. And also, I want to talk to the people who are lazy, who think that they're in a comfortable position, who want to be in a position of people who are doing something good, and they don't want to think about Russia as a country which is killing children right now in Ukraine. I want to remember about these people too. I want to shake them, and there is a chance we can see that that the interest is not law, in spite of the fact that the war is going on for more than 5 months already. There is a high interest. The people say that the interest is very low, but no, it's not true. We can see the digits, the figures of YouTube streams of TV Rain, that the interest is high, and there is a very good chance of shaking the society right now, as I understand. And maybe there is a good chance that people who are thinking differently would change their minds. We are already getting the mails and messages. Of course, it's not a sociology or something, but we're getting messages from the audience saying, "Thank you so much, guys. My mother thinks differently now because of you." Or someone says, "Thank you. I have sent this your broadcasts to my friends, and now they are in doubts," which is a lot already. We just want people to critically think about what's going on right now. So I am optimistic, in spite of the fact that around me here in Latvia and in Tbilisi, Georgia, there's still some colleagues of mine who are working for TV Rain. There is kind of a 24/7 conversation about what would happen? When are we going back? Are we going back? Is there any chance that during the foreseeable future, Russia would change and Vladimir Putin would not be a president anymore? And there is no answer to that, of course, no one knows. But I am still optimistic because we can see that in 21st century, journalism works wherever you are. And journalism works if you are a professional, if you know the standards, if you are on the right side of the history.